Hey there, let me hope you are okay and doing well. Today, contradiction method of proof is our topic. We assume that P is true and Q is false, then the whole statement is false. That is something that is applicable. So we are trying to show that example that show that that is the square root of 2 is irrational. A rational number, first of all, is written in the form P, that is as a fraction, such that Q does not equate to 0 and the GCD of P and Q is 1. So those are the main two characteristics of a rational number. A rational number, of course, is a fraction for your information. Then proof. How are we going to prove this? Because we are discussing about the contradiction method, we are going to prove this that is, we are going to prove that the square root of 2 is irrational by the contradiction method of proof, by saying that the square root of 2, if at all it equates to this P over Q, then if at all at first, the first step, we eliminate the square root, it means we shall square the characters. Then after that, and remain with our 2 being 2 is equals to P squared over Q squared. And after this, we can still interchange and have that is 2P squared is equals to Q squared, or rather 2Q squared is equals to P squared. As you can see down here, I've moved on and picked on 2Q squared is equals to P squared. So this simply tells us that P squared is an even number. Therefore, if at all P squared is an even number, why? Because it is having 2Q squared. This is a character of even numbers. So this means if at all P squared is an even number, therefore it means also P can be represented now as 2L. Let us give now P 2L. Now we are trying to eliminate the Q squared here. So if at all we term our P as 2L, then it means when we move on to substitute the above equation, that is this one in the above equation with this equation 1, so we shall have that is 2Q squared, this equation here, is equals to 4L squared. Of course, if at all P is being represented by 2L, then if at all we substitute our P here, we shall have 4L squared. So it means we shall have Q squared. When we move further down, we divide, it will be Q squared is equals to 2L squared. That becomes our equation 2. So again, we are realizing that Q squared is also an even number, and it also simply means that then Q alone, not Q squared, Q alone now is also an even number. Therefore, what we are going to do, we are going to ensure that we now remember or recall that is the square root of 2 is, we had represented it in this manner above up there. So we are going now to let Q to be 2S the way we did to P. Then after that, we shall now move on to have now the square root of 2 as now being represented as 2L over 2S. Why? Because initially we had represented it as square root of 2P over Q. And now that we've that is got the representatives, that is Q being 2S and P being 2L, we substitute. Then at the end of the day, we shall realize that the GCD of P and Q is 2, which is a contradiction of rational numbers, because the rational numbers, the GCD have to be 1. Therefore, we say, or we conclude, that the square root of 2 is irrational. I will urge that you practice a lot. You can go and check on more questions, and where you've not understood, you can pause the video and again check on it and try to understand. Apart from that, I've provided further informations.